Hey guys, this is Jeff with Tentacore. I am here to talk to you today about our newest product release, the VELO5. So the VELO4, our current appendix carry holster, is about 4 years old. In that time, we've sold tens of thousands of them. It is an outstanding holster. It was the best holster we could make at the time. But since then, we've changed and evolved. You have as well. And the needs and desires and expectations for an appendix carry holster have changed. We've come up with a bunch of subtle tweaks that we think make for a much more high-performing holster in the VELO5. So the first thing we changed is the body contour. The original body contour on the VELO4 was very organic in how it interacted with the body, but it was also very large and didn't work with as broad a range of people as we think it should have. So we redesigned the body contour. We changed the dimensions and the profile of it. It is a little less pronounced and it's a little broader, and we think it works better for most people. So it works better for people who've loved the VELO4, who have been testing the VELO5, find this to be a much more comfortable and more concealable solution. One of the big changes we've made is muzzle length. So we have muzzle lengths now that are specific to the gun, and that's a result of the change in the body contour. The change in the body contour allowed us to basically make a body contour specific for the gun and specific tooling for each length of gun in the manufacturing process. And so that allows us to have not just kind of one universal body contour and one universal length, but particularly with the subcompact guns, we were able to design body contours specific for the really short guns so that you don't have issues with tip out, and it really creates a very comfortable and concealable holster. One of the features on the VELO4 was a molded in camming bar. But the problem is that it didn't allow for different ride heights with regard to belt height. So we've gone to the camming bar we use on the Cartoon that allows for 3 different heights that adjust how much rotation you get. But one of the things we've added to the VELO5 is ride height adjustment. There's a lower position of the camming bar, and then there's an upper position of the camming bar. And that allows the camming bar to align well with the belt. For the VELO5, we've gone to a mid-ride sweat guard. Felt like the mid-ride sweat guard is the best balance between no sweat guard and a full sweat guard. The mid-ride is wider than most, and so it provides good protection for your body and for the gun, for the optic, for the controls of the gun. It also allows for a consistent high thumb index on the gun, and so it does not interfere with proper grip of the gun at all. The VELO5, we've gone away from our proprietary T1 clip to the Discrete Carry Concepts adjustable Mod 4 clip, which also provides slots for range of adjustment. Additionally to changing the clips, we also changed the location. And so now instead of just 2 locations, we have 3 different locations. So there is a position here on the sight channel that is angled. There's a position on top of the slide, and then a 3rd position here on top of the frame. And that allows for a great deal of flexibility for where you carry on the belt line. So if you have a pants belt loop that is interfering with the most comfortable location and most concealable location to carry, you should be able to work around that with those 3 different positions. We not only have the adjustment in the slots on the clip, but we also have 2 different ride height positions. So those 2 different positions allow for over an inch of adjustment. There's continuous adjustment along that whole range, which allows you to fine-tune the best ride height for concealment, comfort, and consistency. Another thing that we implemented is cant adjustment. So you have 5 degrees of cant adjustment one way or the other. And so some people prefer to have their grip in line with their belt line and they want it to cant back. Or some people feel like in addition to the camming bar, they want the grip of the gun to rotate forward kind of like you would in a traditional hip carry, and that aids in concealment. And so by providing that 5 degree of cant adjustment, we're able to accommodate a wider range of carry preferences. One of the big challenges with the VELO4 was the setup, and that was because of the hardware. And the hardware was all off-the-shelf hardware that we found and that we made work. And it was good hardware and a good system, but we were still frustrated with how complex and difficult that was to use. And so we've always wanted to have our own proprietary hardware. With the VELO5, we have what we call a double post, which is a single piece with 2 threaded barrels on either end that line up perfectly with the clip. The double post and the clip come together and sandwich the holster in between it, which makes for an extremely durable and strong attachment method. One of the features that we've added to the blocking on the clips is basically a no snag feature. So there's not a point where the clip can stick out below the holster where you're gonna snag it when you put it into your belt line. For the VELO5, the different mounting positions are all at different planes and different angles. So the one on the sight channel is relatively obvious that it's sitting at a different angle. The one on the slide is relatively flat to the gun, and the third one that's over the frame is going to be sitting at an angle and slightly elevated. The result of these different angles is that when the gun and holster are placed in your belt line, it no longer interrupts the natural curve of the belt. And this might seem like a small thing, but it is actually a pretty significant performance improvement over our previous products and other products on the market for both comfort and concealment. Like all Tenacor products, the VELO5 is designed to work with conventional red dot optics. So as of October 2024, kind of what's out there on the market. So a full-size optic, something like the Trijicon RMR HD or the Aimpoint Acro is gonna work great in our holster. It's the slimline stuff, so Glock 43, SIG 365 is gonna work with the smaller optics. And so if you take like a Acro and try to put it on your 365, it's not gonna work very well, but that's kind of weird, so don't do that. The muzzle end of the VELO5 is open, so if you have a threaded barrel or you have some sort of other muzzle device, it can stick out the end. However, if you shoot a bunch with that, it's gonna get hot. And so our recommendation would be to buy the longer holster. So if you have a Glock 19 with a threaded barrel and some sort of muzzle device or even just a barrel protector on there, buy the Glock 17 version so it doesn't get too hot down there. So phase one of the VELO5 release is supporting every gun that we kind of have supported with the VELO4, and then expanding those lines. So before we had the Smith & Wesson M&P 2.0, but we only had a couple different sizes, and now we're going to support all of the different sizes. In addition to the 2.0 standard, it's also going to work with the steel frame. In like manner, the Walther only had 2 sizes, but we're going to support all sizes of the Walther PDP, and it'll work both with the polymer frame and the steel frame. The 365 series, we're going to support all the conventional stuff like the 365, 365X. We'll also do the X Macro. The X Macro and the Legion are the same holster. So we've designed our CAD and our models specifically to work with both guns, with both frames, and then we'll also support the fuse. In the future, we're going to support other gun makes and models like the CZ P10 series, the Hellcat, but not XD stuff, and HK series guns. So there's all kinds of cool features for the VELO5, but in the end, none of those features matter if they don't actually work. And so the VELO5 is a culmination of years and years of change and adjustment and evolution for us about how we think about holster design and how we think about implementing that into a production holster. The result is a holster that basically seems like it's not there, which in our opinion is the job of a holster, is to carry the gun and not be noticed by other people and also not be noticed by you. Go buy your VELO5. It is available today at tenacor.com.